I want is to take my son surfing.
Nicolas Cage really is a guarantee these days that if you invest your time and money into the movies, it won't be a complete waste. The Surfer is definitely an enjoyable film, especially for the Cage fanatics, but it's not really anything that new. I'm not saying his streak has ended, it has Cage doing what he does best, being Nicolas Cage, and the visuals, the music, and trying to make out what the hell's going on is enough to keep me invested. However, I'll just say it, it's not the most satisfying payoff, so combine that with being the standard Cage affair, and it is a bit disappointing. I don't want to deter anybody, I mean, what else are you gonna watch this week? Just be warned, you're not gonna see anything that new. It does make analyzing it relatively simple. Nicolas Cage plays the Surfer, who's returned to his Australian hometown in the hopes of buying his old house, but when the Surfer residents tell him and his son only those who live there can surf there, well, it doesn't exactly go over. On top of that, his ex-wife's having a baby with somebody else that's brought up once and never gone back to. His son doesn't seem to like him too much, he's hardly in the movie either, so I'm not really sure. But the main issue is he has to hang around the area waiting for a phone call about the house, and the Surfers don't seem to like that. They steal his surfboard, the car, other possessions, the only cop does not side with him, and a number of things simply don't add up. There's a bum that lives in an old car, who they don't like either. The bum claims the lead surfer killed his son and his dog. Cage eventually witnesses an initiation ceremony in which they tell some guy you must suffer before you can surf, and most notably people he knows claim to not know him, like the real estate guy. They all unanimously want him gone, being Cage, he refuses, and the insanity that follows is heavily contrasted by a narrative that isn't really hard to pinpoint. We'll get back to that, but this is mostly about the ride, and the ride is pretty good. It all comes down to Cage, who can carry just about anything. Nobody else in this is that interesting, so he has to. And watching him wander around for most of the movie and get tormented by literally everybody is something only he could pull off. That being said, it is most of the movie, and not much of anything else goes anywhere. Like I said, he has an ex-wife that's irrelevant. His kid might not like him, but we hardly ever see him. But none of it is explained, and I really don't know if the movie would have worked at all without Nicolas Cage. The visuals and the music suit him perfectly. He undeniably keeps you invested. You do want to know what's gonna happen, but all that said, they could have put in a bit more effort. I know Cage can carry it, but the other surfers aren't that unique. I don't feel anybody in this is that memorable. And given it does eventually go somewhere, that probably could have happened a bit sooner. I don't know the exact timing, but it's mostly just the insanity of watching Cage lose it. Like I said, a guaranteed good time, but I'm not gonna pretend it compares to a lot of his recent movies. Given he kinda looks pathetic in this, reminds me a lot of Dream Scenario, but in that he was more developed. The plot was real unique, not so much a mystery like this movie, but the main thing was Dream Scenario was more committed. Not so much the ending, that was kind of a mess, but it kept you interested without solely relying on Nicolas Cage alone. This one's more about the essence, trying to find out what's going on, the mood, so getting into the spoilers, you've been warned, it really could have only gone two ways. Yeah, I hate to say it, but when Cage finally loses it and goes down to confront them, you know it's one of two scenarios. I do believe the movie was trying to convince you that Cage might actually be the bum, and a lot of what's happening is not real, as that would make sense, but given how in your face they make it, it's clearly done to keep the real twist a secret. That being they want him to join them, and basically the whole ordeal is what you have to do to join. The only problem is we saw the initiation ceremony, we heard them say you must suffer to surf, so it does make what's going on a bit obvious. They manipulated the whole thing because they want him there, don't even completely know why, they don't explain it that good either. I mean, even the real estate guy is involved, really gotta suspend that disbelief. But the problem is not that, it's what they do with it. The movie being almost over, they really gotta cram a lot of stuff in, saying that one of them may have killed the bum's dog, but the son's death is not their fault. And finally, for Cage to truly join them, he must burn the bum's car. which he regrettably does do, but like I said, it's a mad rush to get to the end, so his son, who's been absent the whole time, happens to ride by on his bike.
Isn't that convenient?
You again have to question why nobody came looking for him. After all, it's a Christmas movie, because that's very common now. And the bum shows up too, is not too pleased, holds them all at gunpoint. But in the end, he only shoots the main guy and himself lets Cage and his son go surfing because they wanted to do that. And you can't deny, this is kind of a mess. Aside from the relation to the surfer's father doing the same thing, none of this feels remotely deserved. As a downside to only focusing on him, I don't really care about the bum, he's hardly in the movie, and that may be a result of spending most of the movie thinking Cage is the bum. Or at least trying to make you think that. But everybody in this, Cage included, is very vague. You don't really know much about any of them, and while that is clearly the idea, it tends to make you not care about this. I mean, Cage did still burn the car, knowing it was wrong. I'm not saying he has to be a good person, but I don't find anything about the ending satisfying. Even the son has a really weird personality, a tacked-on feeling. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the ending tries to do too much. Not justified, not enough time spent with the surfers, it's way too rushed. But all that said, I can't say don't watch it. If you like Nicolas Cage, or even if you don't, it's still entertaining. It does really keep your attention. This comes down to the music and overall visuals, but if you're sick of Cage, this is not gonna change that. Unlike Dream Scenario, there's nothing unique about it. I really wish the movie did something else new, but despite the effort, nothing's that unexpected either. Similar to the past 7 Dream Theater albums, you could just say, you don't get it. You're not seeing the hidden message, the point of the movie, but I don't think there is one. Has the streak ended? I'd say on thin ice, definitely lower spectrum, but let me know what you think down in the comments. If you liked the video, please share it, of course hit the like button, and subscribe down below for more content like this. The gaming channel is an option too for the same stuff with games. There's a link in the description. I'm the Analyst, and remember kids, everything is a Christmas movie now. Because I guess that's in.